Hi, I'm Brock Seguin of dailyfaceoff.com, and with me is Josh Harris. Josh, how's it going, buddy?
Uh, Got a nice little short slate tonight. I'm looking forward to it. Stacking some Vegas Golden Knights.
Oh no. Yeah, the very first game ever for the Vegas Golden Knights. Probably going to mess some things up a little bit tonight. But before we get into that, this is obviously the Daily Fantasy Show by DFO, dailyfaceoff.com. You guys have obviously heard from Neil Harris the last couple days. I'm taking over for him here. I'm the editor-in-chief of dailyfaceoff.com, Brock Seguin, and Josh has been here the whole time. Before we get into tonight's slate, Josh, we've got a couple of new premium features that we're offering over at dailyfaceoff.com, including a premium chat, which me and you have been a part of the last couple of days, where users can come and basically ask us anything under the moon, whether it's which goalie to start, maybe even if they got some questions about girls, doesn't really matter. We're here to answer anything they got. We also have some premium projections and a brand new lineup optimizer, which was built by Emmanuel Perry, the guy behind CorsicaHockey.com or Corsica.hockey, I should say. Great lineup optimizer. That guy's pretty much a genius, so you know it's good stuff. But Josh, like you alluded to already, 3-game slate tonight. Nowhere near what we saw last night, where players were just going off left and right. 10-goal game in Chicago, another hat trick by Ovechkin. The hat tricks have been crazy. Blackhawks, that was insane. But just 3 games tonight. So what is your basic strategy for such a short slate?
For this one, I'm probably going to load up. Uh, I'm going to try to look to six-man stack a couple teams. I'm going to be throwing multiple lineups at it tonight. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to the Vegas Golden Knights, actually. But the problem with that is um, Eakin's a wing. Like they're all wingers. The top
Yeah.
six is all wingers, so you're gonna have to get a little stack them. But I like the Columbus top line is really nice. I think that's a nice little pivot from the Chalk Stars top line tonight. Um, Islanders will be interesting if Corpusalo is confirmed and it's not Bob, because I guess they have a back-to-back and Tortorella doesn't want to go Bob back-to-back right away. But this should be an interesting slate because Dallas is going to be chalk. There's going to be a lot of ways to leverage this slate.
Yeah, it's actually the last game to start, but we might as well just get right into it. I mean, I think everybody's a little bit excited to see what the Vegas Golden Knights have to offer. It was funny. There was a bit of a Twitter frenzy going on earlier because everybody was like, okay, we're ready to go here. The Vegas Golden Knights, they're starting off. And then all of a sudden, their number one center is still in the AHL. Vadim Shapachyov, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not really sure, but he's still in the AHL. Like you said, I think a lot of people are obviously going to be going after that top line in Dallas. You got Jamie Benn, Tyler Seguin, Alex Radulov. Might be one of the best lines in the NHL, and their first game together is going to be maybe against the worst team in the NHL. So if you're not going heavy on Benn, Seguin, Radulov, who else are you kind of looking at in this game?
I do like the second line with Spezza. Definitely have to have some Klingberg because he's on the power play.
For sure.
It's going to be so tough because high owned. So you and like 35-40% of your friends are going to all have Dallas one.
Mm-hmm.
To really win a GPP, you're going to have to be perfect in all the other spots. And really I'm going to have a decent amount of Marc-Andre Fleury tonight just as
Just in case.
just to leverage the field. Because if he's a very capable goalie. He's a Stanley Cup winner. I know the Vegas isn't very good, but he could see a ton of shots because the roster Vegas is trotting out isn't very good. So, I mean, he could sneak 35-40 saves out there. If he gets a win, he's going to be the goalie play tonight.
Yeah, I definitely think the Star second line is pretty interesting too. I mean, you got Janmark and Spez, who are both pretty good playmakers. Richie averaged over 2 shots per game last year. I mean, if you go with them, you can kind of just hope that maybe they do all the damage instead of Dallas one, which it seems like everybody's going to be in on them. But you're right about Fleury. I like that play. It's definitely he could steal the show. We've seen it in a couple goalies early in the season here, happened to your Rangers last night. Varlamov went out there kind of unexpectedly and stole the show. Anybody else you're looking at from the Vegas Golden Knights besides Fleury?
I really like that. I really like that second line with Neil Eakin, and
Perron.
Yeah, Perron. They're gonna be pretty low owned. I think they're very cheap. They'll let you fit anyone else you want in. Neil looked like he was doing work on the power play. We haven't seen them run a power play yet, but he should. I mean, obviously he should be on there. He's one of their best players. And if Colin Miller is on the power play, he's extremely cheap and really lets you fill out your lineup any way you want. I mean, even maybe leaving a little salary on the table tonight could be a way to get a little contrarian.
Yeah, that's the one thing we have over at Daily Faceoff right now. Obviously, the lines and the power plays, but I have not seen any power play information from the Golden Knights. I reached out to a couple of beat reporters and just nothing. The only thing I did see was that Neil was working on the power play this morning, but they didn't offer any units to us. You have to think that Miller will probably be on that top unit, especially with Shea Theodore still in the AHL as well. And Miller's got a great shot too, good skater. So he should, if he plays in that top unit, there's definitely some sneaky value there. Maybe some Jason Garrison will be on the power play too, just because he's got a good shot. Their second pairing defenseman is Derek Englund, so they really don't have a lot of options.
Maybe Nate Schmidt. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. But you want to get moving on here into the other games? We've also, I guess, the first game of the night, like you said, Korpisalo might be starting for the Blue Jackets. They're hosting the Islanders, who they're going with Thomas Greiss tonight instead of Yaroslav Halak, who starts tomorrow. Last year, the Blue Jackets were fifth in high danger scoring chances, while the Islanders sat in second, gave up the second most high danger scoring chances. So there's a bit of there could be a lot of scoring chances here for the Blue Jackets today. You kind of already said that you like their top line, but it's also worth noting too that the Islanders were 24, 12, and 4 and averaged 3 goals per game, which was fourth over that span after they hired Doug Wade as head coach. But as you texted me earlier, you said, I think the ghost of Jack Capuano is coming back already. They're already benching Josh Hosang for what's his name there? Jason Chimera, who somehow scored 20 goals last year.
Yeah, I don't know. They want grit against the Blue Jackets. You need speed. That's Hosang's game, man. He's speed. But I don't know. I'm all in on that top line: Wenberg, Panarin, and Atkinson, because even if they match up with the Tavares line, wasn't very good defensively last year, and like you said before, the Islanders give up a ton of high danger scoring chances, and that line it's really not overly expensive. Not that it matters on a 3-game slate, but you can fit them in. You can add in the Seth Jones or Zach Werenski, just make it a 4-man stack. I like Oliver. Was it Borkstrand?
Yeah, Oliver Bjorkstrand. Yeah,
Borkstrand. Yeah, he's a fan favorite of mine. So I mean, you can load up 4 or 5 Blue Jackets, because their power play was the top rated last year, easily in the top 5, one of the best power plays. So I have no issue fully stacking the first power play unit in this game for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I know for a period of time there, they were just their first power play unit went out there and basically scored every single game, which was ridiculous. Wenberg is just such a good passer, and now he's got Panarin and Atkinson, one on each wing. I think between the two of them last year, they averaged 5.5 shots per game. So they both like to shoot the puck quite a bit when you got a guy in the middle like Wenberg, obviously likes to distribute the puck. And like you said, none of them are crazy expensive. And I'm right there with you. I love Oliver Bjorkstrand. He's averaged 2.1 shots per game in a brief 38-game career so far. So pretty good value there at 4,700 on DraftKings. And then obviously it's pretty easy to like what Zach Werenski does.
Absolutely. Then on the Islanders side, I know they didn't really put out lines, but I would assume Tavares is with
hopefully Eberle and Lee, yeah.
And Lee. I mean, I like that line too, especially without Bob starting. I mean, they should. I don't know about ownership. If Dallas one's really going to be that high, I think the Islanders on the road, they're going to come in a little bit lower. Get last change. I don't know how much that plays into people's DFS strategy, but I mean, they should they're probably going to be matched up with maybe Dubinsky.
Yeah, the Blue Jackets even too last year was weird. Like Bob had such a great year, but if you look at it, I mean, they gave up a lot of scoring chances last year. Still, even under Tortorella, they gave up I think the seventh most high danger scoring chances, and I think they were like I can't remember. They were I think in the bottom third of the league in shots against. So they still give up a decent amount of offense. You wouldn't think so the way Bob's numbers kind of turned out last year, but maybe he kind of hid some of their deficiencies, and the Islanders could be a sneaky play tonight.
Yeah, I could actually see this being the highest scoring, sneaky high scoring game. So, I mean, maybe game stacking it isn't the worst, but I definitely have a lean to Columbus in this game. I'm definitely going to have a high exposure to the top line of Columbus.
For sure. I like them too. I watched your first couple episodes with Neil, and you guys didn't really disagree on much. And so far, we're right off on the same foot here too.
Okay.
But then again, already here, the last game of the night, we got the Lightning and the Panthers. Vasilevsky, his first season opening start against Luongo. Who knows how many season openers he's started. He's getting way up there in age. But a couple quick notes on these guys here. They split their season series last year. The home team won each game. But they were rather low-scoring games, just 4.5 combined goals per game in those four contests. Obviously, the Lightning had a bit of an off year last year, should be much improved this year. The Panthers, I don't know, they're a bit of a question mark for me. They made some questionable off-season decisions. I mean, trading Demers for Jamie McGinn was a little weird to me, but they brought in some new faces from overseas, and who knows how that's going to affect. They're a little bit healthier. They've obviously got Huberdeau ready to go for the start of this year. How do you see this game shaking out?
I was going to be heavy on Tampa Bay, and I still might be, but I saw that my boy Dan Girardi is going to be on the top pair with Victor Hedman, and that's just brutal. He's a 200-pound anchor. He's gonna, like Hedman's going to be dragging him all over the ice. So I'm definitely going to look to have some Barkov and Huberdeau exposure. But on the Tampa Bay side, man, Kucherov is 7,200. I think is cheap. I was on the train that if the Lightning made the playoffs last year, that he definitely should have got more consideration for the Hart. He just carried that team all last year
for sure.
In terms of defensemen, I mean, I'd still like Hedman if he's on the top power play, 5,800. I think that's cheap. I mean, 5-on-5, his game might get hurt a little bit with Girardi, but Ekblad and Yandel under 5,000. I think those are good plays too. I wouldn't touch Dan Girardi. 38 shots tonight.
Yeah. It was funny. We were talking about this morning that as soon as the line combos came out and they had Girardi on that top pair, I tweeted it out, and the Rangers fans, the old Rangers faithful, had some fun with him. A lot of people tweeting in saying, "Oh my God, so happy he's not our problem anymore."
Well, you know what the thing is with Dan Girardi? It wasn't that he was such a bad player. I know his skills have declined. I think most people didn't like him because of the contract he signed, and AV didn't put him in a sheltered role like he should have. He was getting top pair minutes, and as a third pair D-man getting in a sheltered role, he'd be okay. But throwing him right to the fire on the top pair, and that's just brutal.
Yeah, I think that was like a lot of what people were saying too. They were like, you know what, this Dan Girardi thing might actually work out okay in Tampa. It wasn't a crazy contract that he signed. They can kind of put him on the third pair and just let him do his thing, like be okay. And then immediately, first game into the season, they just thrust him right back into the role that he was, everybody hated him for in New York. It just doesn't make a ton of sense at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. I mean, I don't see how he lasts a week in the top pair. He needs to be in a sheltered role. He's older. He's breaking down. His skills have declined. He's skating in wet cement. Just got to move on.
What about speaking of other defensemen? What about Mikhail Sergachev? Do you like him at all tonight?
Yeah, 3,200. That's definitely, if you need the space, that's definitely one of the top plays I go to for punting a D-man with Colin Miller at 3,000. I think those two are my top options down at the lower end of the salary for a defenseman.
And then I received a couple questions about him today. What about Nemesnikov? Obviously, he's pretty cheap. I think 4,900. Doesn't shoot the puck a whole lot, but do you kind of just throw him in there regardless with Kucherov and Stamkos, or are you staying away from that one?
That's the thing. He doesn't shoot. So if he doesn't get if he doesn't get on the score sheet with an assist, he's not really going to pay off. But with those two players on his line, I mean, on bigger slates, even on short slate, I mean, I'll probably throw him in there just because if Stamkos or Kucherov score, I mean, he's obviously
Probably getting
most
assists,
likely
yeah.
probably going to get an assist. But you really want him to shoot more. If he starts shooting the puck more, he's going to become more valuable as the season goes on.
Yeah, like he hasn't even played like this year. Obviously, he's expected to get a much larger role, but still, he's played 14 plus minutes for the last 2 seasons and 1.4 shots per game, just not anywhere near what you want to see. But like you said, if he picks up a helper here and there, he'll be worth it. But if he goes out there and gets one shot and 0.5 points, not really worth the 4,900 at all.
Yeah, he's like a better version of Yori Laterra,
Yeah.
who Tarasenko got freed from him, which is good. So hopefully he'll start shooting the puck more.
Thank God for for Tarasenko now being with Stastny.
Yep.
A lot better outlook for Tarasenko going forward now. But that's pretty much it. That's the 3 games. Is there any guys you'd like to talk about a little bit more that you're into this year? Or sorry, not this year, but tonight.
I think from a GPP perspective, I think if people are loading Dallas and they're just going to blindly lock in Ben Bishop, I think you gotta have some exposure to the Golden Knights tonight. Because if they're going to be chalk, you can leverage the field that way. Vasi's still pretty expensive, 8,100, but I like him. Of course, I'm going to have some Marc-Andre Fleury just because he's so cheap, and he could be the play. But overall, I think my favorite line tonight is the Blue Jackets top line. My highest exposure tonight. I am going to have some Dallas just because it's short slate, and you can't really, let me fade the chalk and hope it works. I mean, I'm going to have some just in case, but I'm going to be going in different directions trying to leverage the field.
Yeah, we kind of saw it last night with you. A lot of people were, I think, kind of trying to avoid Chicago once Niemi got confirmed because they were just so obvious, and then they just went off. I mean, what did Schmaltz have last night? Like 5 points or something. So obviously you can get burned if you completely avoid it and they just go crazy. But one guy I kind of was interested in wondering what you thought about was Matt Barzal for the Islanders. I mean, we've seen a lot of these young guys. I mean, we've got Clayton Keller last night had a pretty good debut. Barzal only 4,000. He's playing with 2 pretty good players in Andrew Ladd and Josh Bailey on the second line. He'll probably see some power play time. Will you touch that at all, or are you kind of just staying away from that whole Islanders, bottom 3 lines?
He'd be on with Hosang because I was definitely looking to stack the line, whatever line Hosang was on. But I do like Barzal tonight, especially if he's seeing power play minutes. If you need someone for a little salary relief, he's definitely one of the options I'm looking at. I mean, Brock Nelson's also on $100 more too, and be on the power play. But yeah, Barzal going forward, if he's on a line with Hosang, I definitely have more interest. But you could definitely have worse line mates than Ladd and Bailey.
Yeah, I think the one thing for sure, I guess they said they wanted a more experienced lineup, maybe, like you said, a little bit of a heavier lineup tonight against the Blue Jackets. I guess Hosang's supposed to be back in tomorrow, so it's kind of just, I guess, a one-game thing, or just maybe they want Chimera to play the season opener. I don't know what it is, but I think at least to start the year, we're going to see Hosang with Beauvillier and Nelson, which I actually was pretty interested in that line until last night.
Yeah.
They were just like, yeah, it's not happening. But do you have any parting words before we let the viewers go?
If you're struggling to make lineups, sign up and check out the optimizer, man. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with that. It's great. You can lock in a line and you can lock in your exposures, and it pumps out the values. If you're having trouble, you can hop in the chat. You can ask us, and hopefully win all the money.
Yeah, sounds good. I hopefully will have a little bit better luck than I've had the first couple nights. Last night was okay. The first night, not so much, but I had a lot of exposure to Ovechkin last night, which was nice. And I actually went pretty heavy on Arizona 1, which paid off for the first 2 periods at least, then kind of went ice
cold. Faded, yeah.
But that young team, they're gonna surprise some people, I think, this year. I like them a lot, but we'll see how it goes going forward. But yeah, I guess that's it for the Daily Fantasy Show, brought to you by DFO. Again, like Josh said, head over to dailyfaceoff.com. Check out our premium packages. They're brand new. Josh and I will be bringing you content every single day. Obviously, the Daily Fantasy Show will be here every single day. Josh released a new article today on kind of how to attack this short slate. So go ahead and give that a look. And again, the lineup optimizer is such a helpful tool, especially on games or small slates like this where you don't really know what you're doing. It might give you a couple extra options and help you build that lineup. But anyways, Josh, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.